This year, the Muncy Alumni Association would like to recognize an alumni member with our Distinguished Alumni Award. When I researched the recipient of this year's award, I learned that the local business they have has been in operation for over 90 years. Not that this person's that old, but the business was started in 1921 by his grandfather, and from what I understand, is still a family affair. When the business began, it was a dealership and a repair garage. It wasn't until after Hurricane Agnes in 1972 that the business stopped selling cars. Now, according to an article in the Sun Gazette, in 2013, the owner was quoted saying the business does everything. They do towing, auto servicing, along with transporting students to and from school. If you have not guessed yet, we would like to recognize Mr. Gary Brausford as this year. Yeah, you have to call. As the recipient of the Muncy Alumni of the award, the Muncy Alumni would like to present to you a little award of a free bus ride. I don't see an issue with that. Actually, we'd like to present to you a little something. There's a jacket, not to take away the surprise. There is a jacket, a cookbook.
And a brand.
Also, there's a gift certificate in there for a much greatly deserved night out.
Thank you.
I'm astonished. I never thought that this award would be given to me. But thank you, everybody, for honoring me in this way very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for all you do. My words of wisdom to the class of 2015 is to go forth and conquer. Conquer your dreams. Conquer the workforce, conquer the military, or conquer being a stay-at-home husband, wife, mother, or father. But whatever you do, always remember where you came from and always carry a piece of Muncy in your heart with you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
My name is Ray Confer. I'm Vice President of the Class of 45, of which there are 5 of us here tonight. Yes, 5. I hope you don't expect a lot of remembrances of 70 years back when we graduated, but I can tell you why the cars were back in the house. What did I want? Well, never mind. Class of 45 had 65 members graduating, probably close to 10 others who, because we were just finishing the war, weren't there to graduate. And we don't have a complete record of who they are, but we know why they didn't graduate that day with us. I grew up just across the street from the main high school. I think while I was 4 and 5, they were building it for me. And I believe our class is the first one that went all 12 years in that building. If not the first, we were the second. In any event, there were 63 of us. 20 of us are still existing. 13 left us in the last 5 years, since 5 years ago. I would like to remember them with just reading off their names. There was Shirley Gordner Hofer, Isla Hacker Force, Robert Hofer, Harold Kilgus, Vivian Odell Czar, Lynn Person, Evelyn Prinsenhoff Fisher, Charles Rickhold, Mary Ellen Shook Lewis, Franklin Woodside, Charles Stroop, Mary Ellen Waldron Buck, Robert Ray Baker. That's a total of 13 people that we lost just in the last 5 years. Let me say welcome to the class of 2015. Thanks for taking care of that building. We hope you did. And welcome to the new world.
Well, the class of 1950, 65 years ago, had 54 members. Tonight we have 28 living members, and we have 7 here this evening. 65 years ago, we recognized the 65-year graduates of the class of 1855. I don't remember whether we had any graduates of the class of 1855 at our graduation in 1950. But time seems to just go by so fast, and you seniors will realize, because in 1950, we just didn't think we were going to get old. The class of 1950 extends our best to the class of 2015. We appreciate your youth and hope that your future expectations are realized, whether it be working, military service, or advanced education. Congratulations on achieving this stage in your life, and God bless you. In the class of 1950.
Class of 55.
My name is Bonnie Paust from the class of 1955. We have 5 members present tonight. We welcome the class of 2015 to the Alumni Association. Please remember to support this group, as it will help you renew old friendships as time marches on. We wish you much success in the future.
Good evening. The class of 1960 started out with 54 members, and we are devastated that 15 of our members have already passed on. And we have a good showing tonight, for which I'm very happy. I can hardly believe that 55 years have passed. Where did the time go? One memory that sticks out in my mind is in 1960, our band director, Don Berninger, took us to Washington, D.C. to parade in the Cherry Blossom Festival. And tonight, I would like to see those folks that have participated in band to stand, whether you're on the front of the, holding the flags or whatever. I want to see how many in this room participated in the band. How many? Stand up, please. There was a rumor that was going around, and I really want to know if it's true. Does Muncy have a marching band today?
Very small.
About how many? 8 members. That really, really makes me sad. The music department is what made me what I am today. It gives you, they say music makes you smarter. It gives you another language. And if anyone in this room would like to try to push for more interest in the music department, that's what we need to do. I also would like to wish the class 2015 all the success, because before you know it, you blink your eyes and that time goes. Where has our 55 years gone? It's gone. And now we have to stand by for our grandchildren. Happiness always to you all. Thank you.
Class, we're the 50-year members this year. So I'm going to take as long as I need. I could ask each of my class members to come up here and tell a story. That would take all night, so they've given me that honor. I hope I represent them and tell the story properly. But we started out in a log house on the banks of the Susquehanna. The oldest boys carried their flintlocks to school to scare away the bears that came out and attack the small children. We were each asked to bring a cow chip to school to supplement the wood in the fire. And for lunch, we ate large sandwiches. Well, it wasn't quite that interesting, but I do think that we have an interesting story to tell. So sit back and relax. I'm going to take a long time. We graduated in '99, including our exchange student, Angie, from Australia. Since that time, 15 have passed away, including our exchange student from Australia. Most recently, Mike Peterman passed away, and right before that, Steve Beneisen. So we've lost a few ourselves. We attended kindergarten in the Baptist church. We were about the second wave of the baby boomers. There just was not enough room in the high school building, which held grades 1 through 12. So we were in the Baptist church. We went to school for a whole year, the first grade, but that would soon come to an end. That particular year, we each also had a rhythm band. We had snazzy white uniforms. And we each had a color-coded cape representing our class. And we held on to those uniforms because in the Memorial Day parade, we marched in those uniforms. We each carried a bouquet of flowers. When we got to the cemetery, we branched out. We looked for a grave that had a flag on it. I found my Uncle Harry's grave. We listened for taps. We listened for Brady Snyder fire his cannon. That was our clue to lay the flowers on the grave. I said first grade would end with an all-day school. Because the school was so crowded, from second grade through half of fifth grade, we went to school half days. Tom Britton knows what I'm talking about too, because the class of '64 would have done the same thing. There were two sets of books in each desk. On one side was the morning students, and the other side was the afternoon students. We had two teachers. One teacher didn't teach both classes. I think the morning session went from something like 7:30 to about noon. The afternoon session went from about 12:30 to 5. That ended in fifth grade because that year when we went home for Christmas, we took all of our books with us. When we came back to school, we didn't return to the high school. We returned to this building. So I think we also are the only class that started this building in fifth grade. I don't know about the class of 1970. You might have come here in kindergarten. But that was kind of how we started our days here at this school. The desks had ink wells back in the old building. There were no ink in it, unfortunately, so we didn't have to worry about the girls with the pigtails. Didn't have to worry about that. We were present at the laying of the cornerstone out front in 1958. If you remember, that was also the International Geophysical Year, if I recall. Our principal was Ward Myers, after whom this building is named. That's another distinction we have. If you recall, in each classroom back in the old building, there was a blue light in front of the class. I think it was infrared or something like that. In fifth grade, one got out of adjustment. And our fifth grade teacher got a very nice tan on the back of her head. We were afraid of catching polio. In fact, our mothers would prohibit us from swimming in August during the dog days for fear we'd get polio. That was about the same time that polio shots came around. And I used to stand behind a fellow classmate who's here tonight, but I won't mention any names, because when he passed out from getting the needle, I'd be there to catch him. And I promised I wouldn't tell who that was. We got fluoride treatments from the school hygienist. We had special exercises from Miss Busey, if you recall. We had a dance in this very building in 6th grade. After school, those of us who wanted to took dancing lessons, so we had a dance right here in this school. And for fun, we went to Mr. Lawrence Ritz Theater. Anybody ever win the $1? That was quite an honor. The problem is when she went back up the aisle, all the kids that didn't win threw stuff back. For a senior class group, we went to New York City because that was the year of the New York World's Fair. And in the evening, we took the subway. Yes, we from Muncy took the subway down to Greenwich Village to the bitter end. And if you recall, in those days, the drinking age in New York was 18. So that's another story. The class of 1970, I already talked to you a little bit. You'll be next for your 50th reunion. I recommend you start about a year early. This is what we've done. Last evening, we were at Orly's. 71 of us went to Orly's. At about midnight, I went and asked the bartender, when do we need to leave? He said, now. Today, as the superintendent did mention, we took a very nice tour of the high school. If you've not been there, you'll be very, very impressed with what goes on there. A wind tunnel in the shop class. That is one thing I recall. All kinds of numerically controlled manufacturing stuff. So I'm not sure I could survive high school today with all the things that they have, all the technology. This evening afterwards, we're going back to Orly's for kind of an informal, and one of our classmates generously offered to host us tomorrow at Lake Macoma at his cabin up there. So we're far from enjoying our time together. There are about 68 of us here tonight. Now that's not all classmates, so we've filled 2 tables. And I will remind you that the recipient of the Alumni Association is a member of the class of 1965, Gary Brailsford. And I would say too that we rode on Brailsford buses, as did many other generations, that had chains and sanders. That's right. Snow day, what's a snow day? We might have missed 2 days of all that time. Because it's going to take you about a year to get everybody's addresses correct. It's going to take you about a year to find all the email addresses. And one thing that we did this year, John Lovell, one of our classmates, said, hey, let's make our own yearbook. So over the past year, each one of us who chose to participate, and that was about 80% of us, sent in a picture as we appear today, pictures that represent our life the last 50 years, and some biographical data. Here was a picture taken from our yearbook. This is a real treasure, I can tell you, so it's worth the effort if you can do it. I think everyone's shaking their head yes for participating. Also during this time, one of our members said we need to set up a memorial fund to honor Steve Benison because he passed away. He was a very active part of this Alumni Association, so we did that as well. This didn't happen with the efforts of just 1 or 2 people. I'd like to thank Gary Brailsford, Freya Page, and Dwight Long for setting up and administering this fund over the course of the past year. Keith Snyder and Susan Campbell, who unfortunately cannot be here tonight because their son suffered a fairly serious chainsaw accident on Monday. And I'm using maiden names of the ladies because otherwise you don't know who they are. They were able to research all the addresses, and we found that of 99 people, we found the addresses of all maybe half a dozen, so that was very, very good. Kathy Brown made our special name tags, and we're very thankful for that. John Lovell for the yearbook, and Sandy Florent for heading up the decorations. What did we do with our money? Well, I would like the president of the Alumni Association, Mary Lou, would you come up here and assist me? Over the course of the past year, due to the generosity of our class, we collected $3,243.51, that includes some interest, which we would like to present to the Alumni Association to use however you would like to.
Thank you very much. Steve was a very well-known member of the Muncy Alumni Association, and very well loved and he did a lot of work for us. So we thank you very much for this.
Good class. Okay, from the class of 1970 to the class of 2015, welcome to your first alumni banquet. And just have a few words of wisdom for you. Well, a few. Things change. Most kids from our class were born in 1952. Technology has advanced light years since then. To keep up with our kids and grandkids, we had to start out by using typewriters, then computers, laptops, iPads, iPhones, texting and messaging on Facebook. Things change. I made an observation a couple weeks ago, and maybe the class can help me understand this because I sure don't get it, okay? When I was a kid, the word dope meant an unintelligent person / idiot. Then in the 60s, it meant a kind of bad drug. Now it means something's cool. I don't get it. So I was playing that over in my mind and I thought, okay, so don't be a dope, don't use dope, don't try to be dope. Even words can change. Let's see how well that new meaning of dope works for us. People born in the 50s have lived in 7 decades, 2 centuries, and 2 millenniums. We had the best music, the fastest cars, drive-in theaters, soda fountains, and happy days. And we're not even that old yet. We're just that dope. It doesn't fit for me. I don't know if those kids got where that came from, but I was thinking about it. And change isn't always good, but always try to change for the better. Better yourself, better your life, better the people you come in contact with. You'll also have choices to make. Make wise choices. Always consider the consequences of the choice. I've worked at Bucknell University for over 22 years in a counseling center. I see the consequences students suffer from bad choices. Be wise. Think before you act. Have respect for yourself and others and make wise choices. I'm going to share an old story about 2 boys who had a father who was an alcoholic. They grew into young men. One son became an alcoholic. What choice do I have, he said. My father is an alcoholic. The other son never touched a drop of alcohol. How could I, he said. Look what it did to my father. From this simple story, we see 3 lessons. 1, we are all role models. Like it or not, other people will look at how we behave and model their lives after us. It's something that we need to keep in mind for all the people we care about and influence. Number 2, we can learn from others. It's much better to learn a lesson from someone else's bad experience than to have to experience it ourselves. And that even applies to our parents. They aren't perfect either. We can look to them for an example. In some cases, it may be a positive one. In others, it won't be. Either way, we can take away direction in how to live our lives. And number 3, we all have the power to choose. We don't always get to choose what happens to us or around us, but we can choose how we respond. We can't control the circumstances, but we have total and complete control over our reaction to the circumstances. These 2 sons started in the same place with the same circumstances. However, they chose completely different paths as a result of their situation. From my classmates in the class of 1970 to the class of 2015, life will change for you now. Choose wisely. Glorify the God of the Bible with your life. Make it count for Him, yourself, and others, and life will go well with you. Best wishes on your graduation.
I'm going to be like my father in a minute. So everybody settle down. We're not being for those of you that don't know, you might remember my father.
Yes.
He was the principal at Muncy High School. For those of you that graduated probably anywhere from 1970 until 65, 60. You might remember him affectionately. He was also known as Pudge. And for some of you, I'm sure he had personal discussions which probably started out something like, basically you're a good kid, but. I was reminded we had 113 students in our class. There are 13 here tonight. The other 100 are probably already American Legion, where we're going to be calling after this. A little bit about our class. Our class advisors were Eleanor Burley and Bob Wolf. Our class flower was the rose. Our class motto, and I believe this is attributed to Patty, was don't relive the past and don't predict the future, but enjoy the moment. Our class song was Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles. Our class trip was also to New York City, which, as was previously mentioned, the drinking age there was 18. Some of us remember the trip better than others. Some of our highlights. Our football team was 0-10. Of course, probably not a highlight, although we did have some really great times. Our girls' tennis team, they had a winning record that year. Boys basketball, not so well. Wrestling, not so well. Our bowling club was the West Branch champions. There we go. And boys' tennis team was 15-1 and had won the championship 3 years in a row. So tennis obviously was our sport back then. We're really known for our nicknames in our class. We had a Furhead, we had a Spokes, we had a Chet, we had a Phone Duck, we had a Tink, Toot, and Tate, we had Snowball, we had Mag, we had Ripoff, we had Pappy, we had Snake, and we had a Peahead. So that's kind of the highlights. I would like to congratulate the class of 2015. Enjoy the rest of your years. For those of you who are going on to college, good luck. For those of you going to the military, thank you very much. And for those of you going into the working world, keep paying that Social Security.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Joanne Holling, representative of the class of 1980 by default, I guess. Out of 117 of us, 3 of us are here this evening. And we're not really sure where the other 114 are. Actually, on a serious note, 5 of our classmates have passed away that we can be sure of. Well, we have an argument about whether somebody actually that has passed away graduated with us or with the class behind us, because we both kind of try to take credit for it. So we're going to say that he belonged to us as well, because he was a nice guy. There are a lot of things that have been said here tonight. Some really nice words of wisdom for you guys that are just starting out. I would just like to simply add that as someone who has started a new career at 50, it's a nice thing that I can do in my hometown. I've lived here for a really long time. I lived a long ways away for a long time else before we moved home to raise our kids here. And Muncy is a great place to raise kids, and I'm finding that it's a great place to own a small business. So if you ever have a consideration where you're somewhere else and you're not happy, there's always Muncy. So congratulations and good luck. And I'm also going to pull the number for our basket, which it's a gift certificate from my bake shop because nobody else did anything. So if you win, see me and we'll talk about what we can do for you. And the winner is 154591. Here.
So I could have graduated with this class in 1965.
of the winner of the 50-50, her name is Jackie, has graciously donated her winnings back to the Alumni Association. Don't have a speaker? Okay. We see you. 2,000? Anybody for 2,000? Oh, you're good with it?
All right. My name is Kate Ramsey. Some of you will know me as a different principal's daughter. My father's Phil Ramsey. Unfortunately, only 2 of us are present tonight in the class of 2000. Our reunion is later in the summer. I think that would be the issue. Congratulations to the graduating class. My advice to you is some of you are going to be in a really big hurry to get out of here. Just keep in mind who you've become is completely due to where you grew up. And no matter what you experience in the world, you're going to be facing it from the perspective of what you learned here. So good luck, and hopefully you can make some positive changes. Congratulations.
First student. The winner of the award must be present tonight to receive the award. I will announce the award winner and ask them to come forward to read their essay. The first winner of tonight's award for the class of 2015 is... Sorry, I'm pulling a Ryan Seacrest. Joshua Lloyd.
Hey everybody. All right, here's my essay. For the past 15 years, I've called Muncy home. Memories of my life in New Jersey and Maryland are few and far between. And I've always told myself to live in the moment, and the present is what matters most. And soon I'll have to let the present go. Bidding farewell to Muncy High School holds a bittersweet sense of longing. The first and last that our classes shared together all come flooding back to me now. We learned songs about letters and addition or subtraction. We marched through the crowded hallways and we waged war over possession of the monkey bars at recess. We lived in a world of imagination where anything and everything was possible, and the teachers and staff helped us every step of the way. Muncy High School possesses an indomitable school spirit that can easily be seen at events such as Indian Fest, the annual Smelly Shoe Game, and Backyard Brawl or Spirit Week. Where else can you dress up like Captain America and Captain Jack Sparrow in the same week? You guys know what I'm talking about. My tennis coaches have cheered us through 3 difficult seasons with unstoppable optimism, while our theater program, Bridget, has produced shows worthy of Rail Light nominations for the past several years. These are just a few examples of Indian pride that have made Muncy High School an invaluable part of my life and character. Somewhere down the line, we grew up, and although some of us aren't ready to say goodbye quite yet, it's a bridge we'll have to cross. For me, setting out from the small, tightly knit community of Muncy is an introduction into a larger, more complex world. Anything and everything, in a sense, is still possible. I hope to traverse the farthest reaches of the planet as an interpreter or an ambassador, and Muncy has done its best to prepare me for whatever obstacles may fall on the path ahead. Although these last few weeks of school are just another beginning, I know I'll never really leave Muncy behind. Thank you.
Thank you, Joshua. Our second winner of tonight's award for the class of 2015 is Brandon Wenzel.
That's tough. That's a tough follow-up. Graduating from Muncy is very important to my family and me. 2 years ago, we moved, and this move put my family in a different school district. We filled out lots of paperwork, and now I happily drive a further distance to Muncy. I'm a third-generation graduate dating back to the class of 1959, and the 6th member of my family to graduate from Muncy. Yet, my family history isn't why graduating from Muncy is so important to me. The small, tight-knit community has taught me a valuable lesson. I've come to appreciate Muncy as I have grown up. 3 days a week, I intern as an educational interpreter in the Williamsport School District. Comparing schools has made me appreciate old blue and white. Most teenagers have been deprived of something Muncy has taught all of its students. My parents always taught me to be respectful because someone is always watching. Growing up in Muncy, this has proven true. Unfortunately, my father and I look very similar, and if I had $1 for every time a stranger saw me at Orly's and called me Little Lou, I would need to apply for the scholarship. My point is, growing up in Muncy has taught me about accountability and responsibility, and I'm proud to be a Muncy Indian because the school and surrounding community has ingrained in me the importance of citizenship.